Hey everyone.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
I'm now a white girl with straight hair.
I know, I love it. I love it. Love the straight hair. But give everybody just a couple seconds here to get into the room tonight. We're going to have a lot of information for you, a lot of
Yes.
pertinent information as to what is going on in today in society globally with our health and sleep patterns. And you'll find out about this in a minute. But let me.
And I'm gonna try and pay attention, not always get my nose stuck in my phone.
Well, Mama D is always working busily, doing her thing. But, here we are. So,
She's the brains and I'm the beauty, and I'm just here so she's gorgeous. I don't mind. Don't get me wrong, but it's like the less I have to talk, the better.
awesome. All right. I'm going to actually officially start the show now. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fox Den. I am Gina B, and the place to be is here with me and Mama D. We are here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, just to throw out there, if you are listening after the show is over to any of our Anchor FM venues, and you can see a whole ton of them across the top of the screen, if you're listening to any one of them, please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the notification button. You're going to want to watch the shows. You're going to want to see the people that we have on. You're going to want to see their book covers. You want to see what we are showing you. You want to see the videos that we're going to play for you. So go to the YouTube channel so you can see them. Okay, cool? Yes. All right.
And if you don't, Mama D gonna get you.
That's right. But tonight we have Patrick Wanis and Chris Burres with us. They are in the green room right now, and they will be with us as soon as this intro video is over. Good evening and welcome to the Fox Den. Tonight's topic is relative to our global situation. Social isolation, major losses, and the extreme disruption to life caused by the pandemic result in increased levels of stress hormones and various intense emotions, including sadness, fear, worry, anxiety, hopelessness, loneliness, and depression. But what's worse is that this rush of emotional turmoil is disturbing sleep and keeping people awake at night, which in turn suppresses your immune system, making you even more susceptible to the virus. But we have two experts here today to help you break that cycle of stress and sleeplessness that could so damage your health. Dr. Patrick Wanis, a renowned human behavior expert. Patrick, who has appeared on global news outlets such as BBC, CNN, Russian news agency, Fox News, and MSNBC, and is recognized for his subconscious rapid transformation technique. He will discuss things that we can do to ease back into peace of mind. Chris Burres is a scientific researcher who has pioneered the use of an astonishing molecule called ESS60 that has some amazing properties, which include enhancing sleep and boosting immunity. Today, he is here to relate the shocking story of how this molecule's abilities were discovered by a Nobel Prize team, what role he has played in its advancement, and what its implications are for human health and longevity. Patrick and Chris have teamed up here today to bring us new solutions for restoring your state of health and sleep during this challenging time. Welcome to the Fox Den, gentlemen. And here they are. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So great to have you. I do hope that I tried to turn up that video. I don't know what it is with the audio on that intro video. I know my voice was very low, and I apologize. So, if you have to, turn it up, rewatch it. But this
Rewind the show and go back in the beginning and just boost your volume.
Exactly. And already we have the COVID coaster of emotions. And that is such a great way to explain that. Now, this is really an unusual matchup, you guys. Okay, it really is, because we have a behavioral expert and a scientist. So, okay, where'd you meet? How'd this come together? What are you doing together?
Well, I like to hang out with people that are very white and don't have a tan, just so that there's contrast.
So that's why he's on my side of the computer.
Chris and I met quite a few years ago at a social event, and because we have shared values, we became friends, and then we've worked together on various projects. And I've also done training programs and workshops for some employees in his various companies. And then last year in 2020, when the pandemic broke out, Chris and I were having conversations as we do, and he says to me, "Oh, I don't know what's happening here, but I'm feeling really tired." I said, "What?" He said, "I don't know what's happening, but I'm feeling really tired." And I said, "You understand there's a pandemic, right?" And I said, all of us are feeling tired, and that tired feeling is a feeling of heaviness that is often associated or the direct result of feeling sad or grieving or even depression. And sadness, sorrow, and grief is one of the core emotions that we've all experienced at some point, not just in our lives, but at some point during the pandemic. So Chris and I said, look, given that we're both experiencing emotional challenges, which means we're both human, let's do something to help people. And it was actually Chris who suggested that. And so he's going to tell you about a product that helps to boost immunity and also helps you to sleep better. And when you sleep better, it also boosts your immune system. And then what I did was I put together an audio book, which we're giving to your audience for free without any strings, no names or email addresses. And the book is actually called How to Neutralize the 7 Emotions That Are Holding You Hostage Right Now. That's 7 umbrellas of emotions. And then I also created a free guided meditation. So if we understand that we all experience life in 4 realms: mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. One affects the other. Your thoughts affect your emotions. Your emotions affect your body. Your body affects your emotions. Your body affects your thoughts. And your spirituality is about the way that you interact with people. It's not just relationships, but it's about finding meaning and purpose in your life. Whether you believe that that's due to a higher power, or you believe that you want to make a positive difference. Living from your heart is my concept of being spiritual, or finding a greater meaning, so that we're not just, that we actually have something bigger than ourselves that we can strive to achieve or strive to do. So we put this together, and also understanding the way that your emotions impact your immune system, the way that your emotions affect your sleep, and the way that your sleep or lack of sleep also impacts your emotions. So here we are, this extraordinary human being that isn't just one thing. We're not just the physical body. We're not just the emotions. We're not just the mind. We're all of those things, and one affects the other. And so Chris and I said, let's help people. Let's share information. Let's tell people about ways to boost your immune system, and better ways to sleep, and better ways to deal with the emotions. And not just the emotions, but the real challenges that face us. If you can resolve the emotions, you are in a better way, or you're in a better state to also deal with the real challenges that we're all facing. Even now, almost 1 year later, we still have extraordinary challenges ahead of us.
Oh my goodness, you're not kidding. Well, that was a lot. And this is where you can get those free gifts for you, the audiobook and the meditation, www.myvitalc.com/thefoxden. So these are gifts for you, for listening, for watching, and we thank you guys for doing that. That's amazing. Yeah. And this is not a little book. All right? This is a whole book. All right, this is, like over an hour worth of audiobook and a meditation. So check it out. It's free. You know what they always say, if it's free, it's for me. So it would be for you as well. Yes, Mama.
Okay, I'm bad hostess. I've been having one of those weeks from I don't know what. I didn't get a chance to listen to the books. So Dr. Wanis, Patrick, is it your voice that does the audio of the book?
Well, I'd love to say it was Chris trying to put on an Australian accent, but it wasn't.
No, that would be like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah. No, that is a correct assessment. Yeah.
I don't know if his kids would agree with you. I'm sure they'd find it quite entertaining. But so I recorded the audiobook. I also recorded the guided meditation. All of this was really the direct result of Chris's impetus and Chris's suggestion. And so I just did the work. But he said, hey, this is what you should do.
I love it.
Chris is the director, and you just do what he says.
I'm the laborer.
Yeah, right.
It's that easy. That's exactly how that works.
There you go, Chris. Come up with the ideas.
However,
Make somebody do it.
as long as it works, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we have our dynamic too. Whatever it is that works.
On the point of the book, it's only about an hour and 15 or an hour and 20 minutes. What I did, though, was that I condensed it so there's no fluff. What I decided to do was to make it all actionable so that when I'm identifying the umbrella of the 7 emotions that we're all experiencing or have experienced or will experience, that I then clearly define those emotions. I explain to you how those emotions affect us, and then I give you actionable steps on how to deal with those emotions and how to resolve those emotions. And if you like, I can also give you a tip right now that's not in the audiobook, but I think is very useful because it's very simple. And when you're experiencing an emotion, one of the first things that you need to do is to recognize what the emotion is. So sometimes you'll say, I feel upset. I feel bad. I feel down. I don't feel well. But what is the actual emotion? That's the physical manifestation. If you say I feel down or I feel heavy, what is the emotion? So we've got to label the emotion. Now, there's a reason for this, because the technique I'm going to show you is ultimately about helping you to separate yourself from the emotion. See, when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling angry, you and the emotion become almost one, and the emotion tends to control you. If I can help you to stand back from the emotion, then I'm teaching you to actually control the emotion. Doesn't mean you don't have the emotion. It means that you're in control of it instead of it being in control of you. So you're in, and this has happened to me many times, and I suddenly say, wow, I notice I'm feeling sad. Now, again, be aware of the words I used. I notice that I'm feeling sad. So I've already said, look, I can see that I'm having this experience. I notice I'm feeling sad. I've labeled the emotion. That's an important part of being able to separate yourself, distance yourself. Then what I do is, instead of going, oh, well, why am I sad? And then bringing up anger or something, I say, as if matter of fact, that's interesting. Now I'm going to curiosity, and I say, so I notice I'm feeling sad. That's interesting. Why am I feeling sad? Then I proceed to list, whether I do it in paper or on paper or just verbally, what it is that's actually causing the sadness. In this case, sadness is triggered by a sense of loss. You lost something you had or something you thought you were going to have, maybe an opportunity, maybe a promotion, maybe a marriage, maybe a life with someone, maybe a career. Sadness is also triggered when something comes to an end. So if there's a dramatic or drastic change in your life, you're also going to experience sadness. Even if you say, I ended the relationship, and there's a part of me that just feels so relieved that I ended the relationship. And then next day you say to me, but Patrick, I feel sad. I go, yeah, it makes sense because you just ended something. So by identifying the emotion, by not feeding into the emotion, by not reacting to the emotion, by standing back and saying, that's interesting, and then asking the question out of curiosity, well, what's causing the sadness? Why am I feeling sad? And you get to the root cause. Now you have the option to say, what can I do about the sadness? Well, if I recognize I lost something, can I get it back? Or do I just need to have compassion and patience with myself and say, it's okay that I'm feeling sad because I miss my friends, or I miss this thing that I used to do, or I miss being able to go out without a mask, or whatever it is. And you express compassion for yourself, and then you say, what do I need to accept? What do I need to let go of? And maybe you need to accept that things have changed. We don't know if they're going to go back to the way they were. They may or may not. And then you say, well, what can I do about it? What can I control? What can't I control? This is one of the most important principles. I didn't come up with it. It's been taught for hundreds and maybe thousands of years. It even goes back to Stoicism.
Yep. This is the book that I want to write. I have a real easy method of doing this, really simple and really quickly. Of like, for anything, you're using this situation for emotions, and I was using it for getting your life organized. You put like you in the center of the paper, So you draw a circle, you write you. Off that, you make a circle, and then, whatever the issue is. So if this, in this case, is sadness, so you put you put the circle, you put sadness underneath that. So it's like the possible solutions and the things that you can do underneath each one of those circles. Because in our brain, it seems like we're always running rampant, and then we get overloaded and shut down.
Now, the good thing about your technique is that most of us are visual, but some people respond even more to visual representations of what they're experiencing. So if you put it on a piece of paper and you put yourself inside a circle and you put the emotions outside of the circle, you're also teaching yourself that you are separate. It doesn't mean that you don't experience an emotion. You don't deny the emotion. You don't suppress or repress the emotion. You understand that you can also be separate to the emotion. Yeah. And what I learned from Stoicism is to identify what you can control and what you can't control, and then accept what you can't control and put your energy on what you can control. Now, you ladies are going to say to me, Patrick, I know that. That's called the Serenity Prayer. Well, the Serenity Prayer, the Serenity Prayer was actually created or written by a reverend or a pastor in the mid-50s. But Stoicism goes even further back. It's the same principle. What can you control? What can't you control? Most of us, unfortunately, are often trying to control other people. And if we can't control our own emotions, we try to control other people. We try to control their behavior. So get clear. The only thing you really can control is yourself. And within yourself, what you can control is your thoughts, and your thoughts help you to control your emotions.
Mm-hmm. You are such a wise man. And can I say that this man does so much? I mean, I knew you were coming on the show, so of course I do my due diligence.
That's how I got tanned.
And
I do a lot.
You do a lot out on the beach. but he has, I'm just going to show you guys some of this stuff here, okay? Now we have, that's his website there, www.patrickwanis.com. Those are the two gifts. This is his system, which I'm going to ask you about. He teaches, he has ebooks, he has so many things. And then look at there's so much more. If you go to his site yeah, I know, right?
I was impressed when I saw how many there is.
Really? There they are, right? So this is all, it's all
Chris's fault. He said I should write these books.
Yeah. You get blamed for a lot of things. I do too. I'm with you. That's why you're on my side.
Yeah.
She blames me for everything. If it goes good, it's her doing it.
Yeah. Listen, if we're going to be completely open here, you have no idea how many things he tries to get me to do that I say no. He says, you should do this, and you should do that, and you should do a video, and you should do a podcast. And I'm like, I don't have time for that, Chris. Yeah. But he still tells me to do it.
Of course. You can do that.
Chris, you and I should talk because, I made Gina do this.
She puts me out of my comfort zone, and it's a good thing. The point. But I mean, I just kind of had to go on one thing. Like right now, I'm like, all right, let's.
Well, Tina, maybe I'm going to use your technique. I'm going to just do like here, Patrick. Here's a circle of you. Here's a circle of the podcast. Here's the lines to all the people that you can positively impact by having a podcast.
Agreed. And you know what? You can do a podcast here on StreamYard. So there you go.
See, the good thing is he doesn't get emotional either.
Oh, never. Oh, I can tell. He's just like. He's just steadfast. He's very.
It's very much a scientist.
Data.
Yeah. He's that nerdy scientist guy. But before I move on to you, Chris, though, I do want to say one thing about you, Patrick. I watched something or listened to something, a radio show that you were on, and you were talking about. I believe it was the difference between men and women in their brains and all, and it was very interesting. And if I could remember it, I would put it out there. Or if I can find it again, I'll put the link in so that you people can watch and listen. I think it was just a listen. Maybe it was on your website. I'm not sure. But you were talking about, there was so much to talk about, but the thing that I picked up on was the venting part of it, about getting for emotions. And there was a part where if you vent about different emotions in your life is a good thing, but venting about anger is horrible. And get into that a little bit.
I also included that in my audio book, the book that I'm giving to your audience for free, Neutralize the 7 Emotions That Are Holding You Hostage Right Now. I do go into a little bit of detail about that, explaining that if you're experiencing sadness, if you're experiencing disappointment, if you're feeling helpless or hopeless or powerless, even if you're feeling frustrated, it's very beneficial to talk to someone if that someone will listen to you attentively and then express empathy and compassion. The way that you express the emotion is important, and the way that it's received is also important. So venting in the sense of looking for someone who has that listening ear, someone who's soothing, someone who says, I understand you, or at least I understand some of what you're going through. I don't understand all of it because I'm not you. And if that person shows acceptance, understanding, patience, approval, empathy, and compassion, then it helps with the emotion. Now, here's the difference, and this is what you picked up on. Anger. If I call you and I start telling you what I'm angry about, I also recreate that anger within me. And when you are angry, you are releasing a lot of adrenaline in your body. Now, adrenaline, unless you are running, fighting, or engaging in some sort of exercise or sport, adrenaline is a poison. But when your body uses the adrenaline, it's fine. So adrenaline is actually catabolic. It breaks down things in your body rather than being anabolic, which means it grows things in your body. When you express anger and you're venting, if you just do it once and you let it go and you say, look, I'm really angry because this person did this, or I didn't do that, or I let myself down, and you pause, and then the other person says, look, I understand. Look, it makes sense you're angry. That's okay. But if you continue harping, as we say, on the event, on the emotion, on the anger, you're feeding the anger. You will make yourself angrier and angrier. So I say be careful about over-venting with anger. It doesn't mean to say, well, because I'm angry, and Patrick talked about venting, I shouldn't say anything. No, not at all. I'm saying be very careful about venting with anger, because we tend to over-vent.
Yes, yeah. And yes. Make sure you get that point across.
Because the other thing about anger is that what happens is we start to say it, we explain why we're angry, and then we think more about it, and we get angrier, and we keep going, and we get in this loop, and it just goes round and round. So be very careful with anger. And again, anger isn't good unless it's being used for something positive. And that means if you need to get angry to get something started, to get motivated, if you need to get angry.
Mama D is going to get angry. She keeps raising her hand.
Oh, I
don't. She's
so like, that's my point.
She's pretty sweet unless you really get her angry.
Yeah, there's lines you don't cross, and you guys can't cross it. Now, first off, I have to agree, Ashley, these guys are the male version of Fox Dan. They complement each other perfectly. But one of the things of the anger, it's not me. It'll be Chris. One of the things with the anger, I found somebody, is that I have a friend who, when she gets angry, she will send me a verbal message every morning via Facebook Messenger, and there will be a lot of words in there that will fill my cuss jar. Won't say who it is, okay? But she does that. It's Gina. Gina does that when she's angry with something. She will just leave me a message, and when I get up, I'll get the message, and I'll go, "Good morning to you too, sunshine." And she'd be like, "Okay." I'm the empathic one who listens to her and lets her just spew it off. And when she does, she's good.
Yeah.
So, which is great. And the other point about anger, I say, acknowledge your anger, acknowledge every emotion you experience. Chris, what is the phrase that I teach?
You're muted.
You muted yourself.
Oh.
It was brilliant. What I just said was brilliant. I'm not present to be.
All right, well, you muted up there again.
I may not be smart enough to unmute myself, but the things I say are really. It's okay to feel what you're feeling, and I think it's something that's really important because we're always very. I think most of us are very quick to like, oh, I'm feeling sad. How do I get over it? Or, oh, I'm feeling this, and not accepting that it's okay to feel that. Like you're feeling it. You're a sentient being who's feeling these things. That's okay. And then draw those two circles and separate that emotion so you can start doing something productive with it.
So yes, I teach people you're allowed to feel whatever you feel. You identify the emotion. You acknowledge the emotion. Now, what are you going to do about it? I did this as an exercise with my then 7-year-old niece. So one of my nieces when she was 7, and she was so angry because her brother was making her angry. And I said, I see you're angry. I can hear you're angry, and you're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to feel whatever you feel. You can be as angry as you want. And I said, now what would you like to do? And she completely stopped because no one had ever said to her, you can be angry. You're allowed to be angry.
Right.
Just by meeting her where she is. And then the question for us as adults is, okay, I'm angry about this. I'm angry about wearing masks. I'm angry about the lockdown. I'm angry that this is happening, or there's a curfew, or I can't do this. Okay, I understand that. Now what are you going to do with it? Again, what can you control? What can't you control? If the anger is going to drive you to set up a non-profit to protect children because you heard about some crime committed against children, then you're channeling that anger into a positive area. But if you're just saying, I'm angry, and you're not doing anything with it, where is that anger? It stays in your body. And every time you're driving, notice what happens when you're driving and you suddenly get into this state of road rage. It might only be for 10 seconds, but your body has released a big rush of adrenaline, epinephrine and norepinephrine, and now you're super tense because those chemicals are designed to protect you, to either fight a predator or to flee from a predator, to fight a threat or to flee from a threat. But we use it in the wrong context. So be aware, and this is one of the key points that Chris and I wanted to get across, that your thoughts and emotions also impact your body. And when you're going into the fight or flight response, listen to this carefully, your body immediately says, shut down the immune system. Why?
Yeah.
Because the focus is on protection and survival. So the body shuts down two things. It shuts down digestion and it shuts down, or at least suppresses, the immune system. So the more stressed out you are, that's why you end up having indigestion. That's why you end up getting sick. The worse, the more extreme your emotions are, the more you go into what we call the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight response, versus the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest process. The more you go into the fight or flight response, the more inflammation you have in your body, the more tense your body is. You end up raising your blood pressure. You're impacting and stopping or slowing down your digestive system, and your immune system is now lowered. So what's happening is now you're susceptible to getting sick. So be aware that you're, to COVID and to everything. So that was the other point that Chris and I wanted to get across. And, you know, his product, which he's going to tell you about, My Vital C, is great for helping you to sleep, but it's also great anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antiviral. And so when we said, let's help people from every area, let's help people with thoughts and emotions, let's help people with their body, let's help people to sleep, because Chris is going to tell you the shocking statistics around sleep and the impact of sleep.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so yes, hi, Chris.
Hi, I'm here.
We can actually talk.
Well, welcome to the Fox Den. Mama D is for you.
Let me start you off on your trail of what you're going to help us with. The first thing is, why is the molecule so significant?
So we're going to talk. We'll dive into the molecule, and then one of the things that really Patrick and I committed to is like, how do we add value in this actual broadcast? So I want to give some actionable items that people can take away and actually get better sleep, and that inherently helps them manage their emotions better, and also helps them work on their immune system. So I'm actually holding up, for anybody who's watching, I'm holding up a model of a buckyball.
Soccer ball. Yeah.
We call it a 60. Yeah. And if you're not watching, you're listening, then imagine a soccer ball where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. So you have a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. It was discovered here in Houston at Rice University, and it was discovered by 3 professors in 1985 who went on to win the Nobel Prize in 1996. It's a short 11 years from discovery to actual award of the Nobel Prize. And they won the Nobel Prize because, you know, when you think about things going viral, like on YouTube and all of this, in the scientific community, this molecule absolutely went viral. In 1991, 10 of the most referenced scientific papers, all 10 of the top 10 most referenced scientific papers were about the buckyball or about fullerenes, which is really the kind of gamut of molecules that accompany this carbon-60 buckyball. And so it was a viral scientific viral event, or however you want to phrase it, that the whole scientific community was amazed by this molecule, and that's why they won the Nobel Prize in 96. And Patrick knows I could talk about this molecule for hours. It's amazing.
Yeah, it started out though not for consumption; it was used for other purposes.
Correct.
So what was that?
Yeah, in the beginning, it's superconducting. It's harder than a diamond. It'll actually turn into a diamond. It's got 6-fold symmetry, so you can fire it at a steel plate at 15,000 miles an hour. Most molecules will just shred apart. This molecule will just bounce back. It's great at holding electrons and releasing electrons. There's actually a new symbol in chemistry, the @ symbol that we're familiar with our email addresses, is new to chemistry because of this molecule. So lanthanum at C60 means lanthanum trapped inside of the molecule, not covalently or ionically bonded to the exterior of the molecule. So it was theorized that it could have some medical applications. But those weren't kind of flushed out until later.
All right. So, yeah, I can understand why you would go there. It's the process of getting there. It still astonishes me.
Well, and I would like to say that it was my genius that took this buckyball into the supplement industry and has been delivering all these great value to our customers, but that's not the truth. The truth is, from 1991 really until about 2013, we only sold to research institutions around the world. In 2012, they published the results of a toxicity study. For various reasons, they thought it would be toxic. And so in that study, they gave rats water, rats olive oil, and rats olive oil with this ESS60 molecule. Instead of being toxic, those rats that were given the MyVital-C formula lived 90% longer than the control group. So that's the single longest longevity result in mammals in peer-reviewed published research ever. The next best way to live longer is actually well documented. It's called calorie restriction. You reduce your calorie consumption by 30%, and you can live 30% longer. I call that the starve yourself 1/3 to death diet. Nobody really signs up for that when you hand out the sign-up sheet. So not only is it 3 times the extension of life in the research, it's also agreeable because it's olive oil based, and most people enjoy olive oil.
So is that the reason, though? I mean, is there a reason for the olive oil? Like, does it help to ingest, digest, get
Yes.
the system, break down or not break down or whatever?
Well, so there's a couple reasons that I continue and will continue to take it in olive oil. One of the first kind of scientific based is that original research that showed the 90% extension of life was the ESS60 molecule dissolved in olive oil. What the olive oil does, it actually does dissolve the ESS60. So ESS60 is just a powder, a black powder, and you can consume it, but it's not water soluble. So really it just goes through your body and you excrete it out. When you dissolve it in olive oil, you actually get it to monomolecular layers, or it's down to single molecules throughout the olive oil, and then it's much more bioavailable. And so that's the reason that it's in the olive oil.
Do you use another kind of oil? Sorry.
Yeah, we do. So we have a product with MCT and another one with avocado. The things to just be aware of: 1, the research is on olive oil. 2, you can get a concentration of about 0.8 milligrams per milliliter in olive oil. In avocado oil, about 0.6. And then in MCT oil, about 0.3 or 0.35.
So every good Italian knows you got to use olive oil.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard somebody once say the purpose of food is to get more olive oil into your mouth.
I like that one. Is that person Italian?
That is funny.
And-
But now, how do you? But what is the like the dosages? Like I just put up those bottles.
Yep.
All right, we buy a bottle.
Yep.
And then I saw that there was bottles for dogs and cats and such too. But
Yes.
how do you do this? Do you drop it on your food? Do you drop it in your drink? Do you drop it in your mouth? How is it that you use it?
You can do all three of those and whichever one works best for you. Really, the typical serving is 1 teaspoon, which is 5 mils. And so that's one, we recommend you take that 5 mil serving in the morning. Some people have reported if they take it later in the day, it'll keep them up. Our most consistent testimonial is people take it in the morning. They report mental focus and energy during the day and then better sleep that night.
Can this be delivered to Canada?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do get it to Canada.
Yeah. All right. So now again, how this works between you two,
Yeah.
now you're boosting immunity.
Well, and really it goes back to the sleep, right? If you're getting better sleep, then that helps your emotional well-being. We're not,
And your immune system.
and your immune system kind of parallel reasons. Unfortunately, we don't have, like our cell phones have little indicators, right? There are two of them that are really important. Do you have signal, right? And do you have battery?
Yes.
When you wake up in the morning, we don't have one of those symbols that said, hey, you got enough sleep. And so you're actually in a good state and have the capability to handle emotional turmoil today. With a lack of sleep, it's pretty clear you're actually not as well able to handle emotional challenges. All of the emotional challenges that we've been experiencing, since March of 2020. And I actually call this the horrible emotional sleep spiral, right? Like you wake up, you haven't gotten enough sleep, your emotions get the better of you and you don't do a great job handling them. Then you go to bed that night thinking I shouldn't have said that. And that wasn't really the great way to handle that. And then you don't get as much sleep and it just continues. So
there's another point too that's really important here to understand that, as Chris will probably explain if we have time, that we go into different sleep states. And during certain sleep states, our body is also processing our emotions. And if you don't get that deep sleep state, you don't process the emotions.
Yeah. So that sleep is so very important. And really my product, that's our consistent testimonial, is better sleep. And in reality, we probably don't have time to get into it. There's just a myriad.
We have time. We have 2 hours. So
okay.
Yeah, we got time. Explain away, because I really want to know.
I'm not sure I have 2 hours.
Well,
okay.
I need to go for my suntan. Oh, wait a minute, it's nighttime.
But we have 2 hours
sorry.
available. We don't have to go the entire 2 hours. We have 2 hours available.
So, okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about testimonials. It's important to share that the FDA has not evaluated our product. It's not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. I only share testimonials either about myself or about people who I've had direct communication with and I can trace back to them. I think that's just the only ethical way. A lot of people say, oh, they're just testimonials. The reality is testimonials and anecdotal information is part of the scientific process, right? The scientific process is come up with a theory, then test that theory, and then note that theory is right and adjust or whatever. So this anecdotal information that I share has driven my company to start a sleep study. I'm holding up my ring, my index finger. I've got an Aura ring. It's one of the better sleep trackers on the market. And we're doing a study with Aura Ring about sleeping on our product. We're recreating the original rat study. We're doing a DNA age test. So we're really, I think a lot of supplement companies don't do a good job of going back and kind of confirming the testimonials that their customers are giving. And we're absolutely doing that. So to dig into the testimonials, in my case, I played soccer for 25 years. When I quit, I had a knee pain. That knee pain stayed with me until 2018 when I started taking My Vital C on a regular basis. I am really the nerdy scientist that I probably sound like. I have a spreadsheet of my migraines. I used to get 4 or 5 migraines a year, and back to 2014, I would track them and try and figure out, was it diet or exercise or whatever, what was causing them so I could fix them. When I started taking this product in 2018, my migraines went away. I didn't get a single migraine. My wife, couple that with my wife, I always remember she used to get 9+ migraines per month. And I remember
daughter's like that.
Right? I remember
Per month?
Yeah, oh God, she'll be like down and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember 9 because the doctors prescribed to her something and they would only give her 9 because of its strength. And so 9, she was covered. Anything after 9, she had to deal. And she actually had to deal with some. She's down to 1 a month or 1 every other month since she started taking the product. So a significant value there. And I do have like sleep testimonial. It gets a little embarrassing, but I'll share it with you. I used to take 2 naps before noon every Saturday and Sunday.
Wow.
I would wake up, I would go down to the couch. My kids are watching cartoons, so they'd be sitting on me watching cartoons, and I would take a nap. Then I would wake up and have breakfast, and then I would go back and I would take a nap before noon too. Since I've been on the product, I just don't take naps, and that's a lot for me.
Okay, I have a question. What about somebody who's on dialysis? Can they take this product?
So we are unaware. I would check with your physician, right? That's always the advice. We have not received any complaints from anybody on any other supplements, on any other medications, with any other particular ill health that they're dealing with. All of our testimonials have been positive. Our only thing that we would even throw in the realm of negative is a teaspoon of oil is a lot for some people. If you're not an oil consumer, an olive oil consumer, a teaspoon of oil, right? Put it on your salad or just sop it up with bread like you're at an Italian restaurant, right?
Yep.
But that is
in there. Yep.
Yeah. So that is the one thing that people will report about it. Other than that, we're unaware of any research that says there's any detrimental effects on anything. And it's actually we're legally required to report to the FDA if anybody reports to us adverse effects.
Now, what age group do you think should start this? Can children do this, or should you be like a teenager, or?
So as with a scientific being a conservative scientist, children, I would say teenagers and under, in general, I would not recommend people give this to their children. I happen to, but that is not my recommendation. So understand that. Also, if you're thinking of getting pregnant, if you're pregnant or you're still breastfeeding, it is not recommended. There's no reason for, there's no documentation of why to not, we're not saying don't do it because this bad thing happens, because that isn't on record. There isn't anything there. It's just those are so formative and can have such a strong impact. Interesting, in the original research, they actually didn't give the rats any dosing of the ESS60 product until month 10. And they typically live 32 months. So from month 10 to month 17, they gave them doses, and then that was it. And even though the last rat to receive any of the ESS60 was at month 17, all of those rats on average lived out to month 62.
Now this ball, if you hold that ball up again, and you said this is like a cage, and what's in it stays in it and dissolves in the oil. But now, can you put anything in there?
Any atom, it's big enough for any atom on the periodic chart to fit inside of it. So not any molecule, because you got to remember that each of the black dots, so if you're thinking about a soccer ball, each of the intersections of the different pads on the soccer ball is where a carbon atom is. This is literally just 60 carbon atoms. So you're talking about, a nano material. And so there are molecules, peptides and hormones that are way too big to even come close to fitting inside of this.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. And then, I think this is a good matchup now, because you're bringing the science and you're bringing the humanity, Patrick. So.
Because I'm inhumane in general.
You're in you're doing the the experiments and the creating and the this and putting it out there. But But Patrick can actually get into the emotional part of the behavioral patterns and such in the whys. Why should we do this? Why should we take this? What is it going to benefit us? And I guess this is a great matchup.
We feel it. We feel it is.
Yeah.
And actually what I'd like now is to really just dive into like, okay, so some of the emotions you need to download the book. And I think you've already put the link out there. It's really important to share. You do not need to give us your email. You do not need to give us your name. You can just go there. You can download it. You can put it on your device. You can listen to it right there in the web browser. Like, this is a free gift to your audience. So we want to make that clear. So go do that. And then I want to give kind of actionable things that they can do, like as habits. And it's called sleep hygiene, so that they can get better sleep. It's probably a little late tonight, but for tomorrow, some things to put in place to actually get better sleep. If this is a good time to jump into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Go.
Excellent. So the first thing I want to talk about is napping, right? So the data is very, very clear. Napping in the middle of the day improves your mental performance later in the day. No doubts about it. It's a good thing. There are some challenges with it that you need to be mindful of. So a really good nap duration is about 20 minutes. So if you're going to take a nap, make sure you set an alarm for 30 minutes, because you do not want to go over 30 minutes. What'll happen at that time, it'll start to negatively impact your circadian rhythm. That's the rhythm that gets our bodies in tune with when the sun rises and when it sets, when we're supposed to be active and when we're supposed to be getting ready to sleep.
Pay attention, Patrick, as you go, you tan.
Yeah. So he's going, it's already, the circadian rhythm is ready to go to sleep.
It's almost 9 o'clock here. Go ahead.
So you definitely don't want to sleep more than 30 minutes. The other thing is don't take a nap, say after 4 p.m. Because that can also adversely affect your circadian rhythm and mess up your sleep. This is all about, like, what are the practices that we should have in place so that our sleep can be consistent and really good. So yes.
Okay, but I get tired at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, where I sit back in my chair and it's an automatic. I wake up 20 to 30 minutes afterwards, but that's the time I get tired. So if I can't, it's not good. But nothing stops me from falling asleep. I have to tell you, a lot of people hate me because 5 seconds after my head's on that pillow, if nobody's talking to me, I'm out like a light.
I'm a quick sleeper also.
I'm a very bad sleeper. Very bad, very light.
Yeah, she has to have noise in the background too.
I need
cut out the
to
noise in
have
her mind.
the television on. I can't have a radio on because I will
Sing
the music and everything in my head all night long. I have to put on something mundane on the television, something that I'm, maybe I've seen before, something I'm not going to get into, then I can fall asleep. If I have nothing on, I cannot stop my brain. It will not stop. I've tried everything, and I've done every kind of meditation. I've done every kind of pulling in all kinds of energies and everything else, taking every kind of pill on the planet. I just can't do it.
Have you tried valerian?
I have not.
So valerian, you can get it in sleepy time tea. It's a cute little teddy bear with a sleepy cap on.
I have time tea.
And I actually don't like I'm not sure anyone likes the smell of valerian. But it is really good at calming your mind, right? So that's one of the things it does. Now, that's a good alternative. Our customers, and my kind of testimonial about My Vital C is, I noticed when after taking it for a while, when I'm going to bed, my mind is racing, and you've had these moments where it's racing. You're like, I don't even know if I should try and go to sleep because it's just going, and like there's no reason to even try. But then I put my head on the pillow and I fall asleep, right? Like pretty quickly. Same thing happens. I wake up in the middle of the night. I need to use the restroom. Mind's going. I could get up and start working if I had to, whatever, get back in bed, boom, back to sleep. So that's something that I've noticed, and it does fit with our most consistent testimonial about better sleep. So I'm happy to get you guys both a couple bottles, and then you can let us know how that works for you.
Oh, I love that. That would be
cool.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Yeah.
The other thing, just
Yes, you are.
At least he is on this show.
For the moment.
Patrick coached me before.
I knew him in a former life when he was an alien. So the other thing to consider, Gina, is for how long has this been happening where you need to have external noise to feel safe enough to sleep?
Always, as far back as I can remember, and I'm old.
So are you saying during childhood that's what happened?
I would say like through teenager and on. But then I used to use the radio though.
Okay.
But I
So
realized that doesn't because I'll sing. I will in my head, I'll sing the song.
So something to consider is to also look back and say, what did you experience growing up? What were your sleeping patterns? What did you need to sleep? Did you feel safe going to sleep as a child? Because when someone says, I need to have noise, it can represent multiple things. It can be that I'm not comfortable being alone, or I might feel afraid, or I need some sort of security. So we'd want to identify, where is the insecurity coming from? And what I mean by that, again, is it could be something that goes all the way back to childhood, where perhaps you became programmed to sleep that way, or something small happened that is still reoccurring now.
So I'll have to think about that. Bless you, Mama. I'll have to think about that. She beats herself and she says these cute little sneezes. But, well, my thing is, when I say I can't shut my mind off, it's like for years and years and years I was a business owner. So for years and years and years, I'm multi-business owner. My late husband was a business owner, and I had to do all this stuff all the time. I've always worked for myself, and I'm always like, go, 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 go. My brain is like, it's like the filing cabinet back here. The drawers are always open. Right? I'm always,
Okay. Do you prepare for sleep?
Kind of. I have a ritual. I mean, I have my routine.
So are you preparing for sleep 2 or 3 hours before?
No, but maybe about an hour.
Okay, so you could try this, and that's to start maybe 2 or 3 hours, even up to 3 hours. So if you're going to go to sleep at 10, you want to finish dinner by 7:30. If you can have at least 3 hours between dinner and sleep, that's helpful, because you don't want to be trying to digest while you're sleeping, number one. Number two, to what are you exposing yourself for the last 3 hours before sleep? Are you surfing the internet? Are you surfing Facebook, Instagram? Are you reading things? And if you are, what are you reading? The idea is
usually.
Sorry?
Show stuff usually. I'm doing this show, another show, and I'm always preparing for the shows and reading books. I have to read at least a book a week.
Okay,
two or whatever.
If the book is something that is inspiring and soothing, that's fine. If you are constantly using your brain in the last few hours, then you're not preparing yourself for sleep. The idea is to slow everything down, to use slower music, to turn everything off, put the phone away in another room. This is something else that Chris teaches. I've been doing it for years. I put my phone on silent, and I put the phone somewhere else, so I'm not even mentally thinking about it. The computer is somewhere else. If I have things to do the next day, I write them down, so I'm not going to be thinking about them. And when it comes to 7:30 or 8, you want to be, again, preparing for sleep instead of thinking about, I've got to interview Chris Burres and that other guy, and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. Because what you're doing is you're creating stress. You're actually telling yourself that you have to keep thinking. So a lot of this is going to be about changing your whole routine of how you prepare for sleep. And what you could also add, but let's see how you go with My Vital C, because that might make a huge difference, as well as preparing for sleep, slow, gentle music, dim lights. Your bedroom should be cool, less than 72, ultimately 68. It should be quiet, and it should be dark. That also makes a difference. And I know you're saying, but I'm used to music. So or I'm used to some sort of noise. Try preparing for sleep. Try My Vital C, and perhaps you can also consider GABA, G-A-B-A, which is an amino acid. You can take 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams round about 2 hours before sleep. because that's a very important amino acid for rest and calm, to slow down your thoughts. So what I'm
the counter pill, like in the supplement section?
Yeah, you can go to Amazon and look up GABA.
Okay.
You'll find it's a very safe product. It's just an amino acid.
Okay.
So an imbalance in amino acids, one of the best amino acids for stress is GABA. It's a calming amino acid, because it seems to me that you need to start calming yourself down from 3 hours before. You finish dinner, you're engaging in slow thoughts, you're dimming the lights. Imagine that it's not just a ritual, you're preparing yourself for what Chris and I are going to tell you is the best preventative and curative medicine on the planet. That's your sleep. Your body is designed for sleep. And Chris explains this very beautifully. You got to think about when we were in the caves, why would we sleep? Because it was so dangerous to be a caveman and go to sleep, because a predator could attack you. So
Right.
That's how important sleep is. But there's a book that Chris is going to reference by Dr. Matthew Walker, who's a neuroscientist and a psychologist, who gives you the horrific statistics of what happens when you don't sleep. If there is a surgeon who has less than 6 hours sleep, his chances of making a mistake increase by 170%.
Wow.
That's how important sleep is. If you go without sleep, I think for 16 or 24 hours, you have the same you have the same almost blood alcohol. You're as drunk as a person who has a 0.1% of blood alcohol.
Wow.
So sleep is really, really important. And you're not actually helping yourself if you have these other noises. If the noises just put you to sleep, then you turn it off. Someone turns it off, that's fine. Whilst you have the noise in the background, you don't know how much of that your subconscious mind is listening to. So it might be listening to some, but not all of it. That's why there's a problem, using subliminal audio programs or hypnotic audio programs while you're sleeping, because you don't know what you're listening to and what you're not listening to. You want
on Tubi.
And the idea is, and again, it might be good to read the Matthew Walker book, or I'll send you links on some sleep articles that I've written from the work of Dr. Matthew Walker and other sleep institutes. You've got to get your body into those deep sleep states for your ultimate health, for your immune system, for processing of emotions, for memory recall, so that during certain sleep states, your mind says, this is a long-term memory. I'm going to hold on to it. This is a short-term memory. Bye-bye. And it lets it go. The sleep is so important. Even if you are working out in the gym, you are more productive. You get greater benefit from working out in the gym, doing exactly what you did yesterday, if you've slept well. And you need 7 to 9 hours sleep. If you say, oh no, I'm fine with only 5 or 6, the only way that might be true is if you are 1% of the population, and that's very rare, obviously, because it's only 1%. And as Chris pointed out, we're not cognizant of how much sleep we've had and how we feel unless it's an extreme. When you wake up and you say, I feel terrible, I feel weak, I can't get started, I feel lethargic, or I'm waking up and I'm irritable and I'm frustrated because you didn't get the sleep that you really need.
Right. And also to throw into the mix, while we're at it, pain. Like I have a lot of pain. I have had neck issues since I was 17, and I'm 58. So it's like, there's a long, long history there.
Was that injury or was that emotional pain?
It's injury.
Yeah, from car accidents, multi-car accidents. So whiplash 7 times. I had whiplash. And my neck is so, oh my God, the x-ray is a mess. Like these are getting fused together in the front and stuff. So if I push my head back, it actually kind of hurts in here. But it's horrible. Sometimes, it's pain constant. I can live with it. I do a lot of these.
I do a lot of those, but
it's like all the time. Sometimes it makes me really sick. I will get such a headache from my stomach will get upset. I will get that migraine. I will get that headache. Like, oh my God, I just want to die,
So it'll be interesting to see how you respond to Chris's product of My Vital C. If that in some way helps with the pain, helps with the sleep, gives you more energy, perhaps even calms you. And I would also consider after that, after you've used that for a week or two, to try GABA. And again, you can do a gram at night, maybe, before 10 p.m. So, maybe 8 or 9 p.m.
Because I do try to go to bed at 10. That's my bedtime. I go to
That's
bed.
a good time.
She's up late. Sometimes, if I can't sleep, I'll be like, "You up still?" And she's like, "Yeah, why are you up? Go to sleep." She'll be yelling at me, but she stays up. She's like a little night owl over there, but she sleeps.
Well, there is a percentage of the population that do not fit into the natural circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is that you wake up with the sun and your body starts to slow down as the sun sets. Chris can explain to you more of the science in terms of what's released. Melatonin is released as the sun sets. It's your trigger. It's that point that says, okay, we're preparing for. It's the starting gun as we're preparing for sleep. There is a small percentage of the population that are more night owls, that function better at night. And there's a percentage, so I think it might be 30% of the population are night owls. And there's 30% that can go either way, between being a morning person, that means the natural circadian cycle, or going into night. I don't function well. I can stay up at night and it'll work, but then eventually I'll be sick. So you've got to be aware of what really is good for your body.
Right. I mean, when we go out and investigate, because we do paranormal investigations. So when we go out and do that, we're up all night. So that's just normal.
So are the ghosts.
The ghosts. We'll sleep. We'll sleep after that. So, but we haven't done that because of COVID, and we haven't gone anywhere. We haven't done anything. I'm sure the ghosts in all these locations are saying, "Hey, where is all the people that are?"
Hey, where's Gina?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
She should be here by now.
But it's funny. But Chris, now he put you out there a few times here, saying that you were going to tell us about this book. So tell us about this book with what was that, man?
Dr. Matthew Walker.
Yeah.
The book is Why We Sleep, and it's a phenomenal book. It's also the scariest book that you'll ever read with regard to sleep. It's like the Freddy Krueger of your sleep books.
I don't like scary things.
Yeah,
but it'll scare you into sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh, as I said, I can sleep at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and this will say like, okay, now's the time to drop the hat, because the book is very clear. Like some of the stats that are in it, right? We do this kind of horrible sleep experiment twice a year, where we change the time by an hour, right? And the data is crazy and very well documented. I think it's like a 28% decrease in heart attacks when we gain an hour, and like a 30. The numbers are different for
20 something. It's about 21 to 24% both ways.
Right. And so when you gain that hour, heart attacks go down. When you lose that hour, heart attacks go up. Right.
And suicides go up as well.
Yeah. So that's cardiovascular health. Like most of us don't think, oh, sleep, that's going to affect my heart. It actually does. If you go for 2 days without sleep and do a blood glucose test, you will show up as a diabetic, even though you just lacked 2 days of sleep. Like this is monumentally important. And that book just should hopefully scare you into it. I mean, one of the things that's true, like as a society, we're like, oh, sleep is so important. You absolutely, whatever you do, you've got to get your sleep. Well, unless there's something else to do. And then you can sleep later. And that book should like smack that out of you because it's not true. Like the old adage, like I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, you'll be dead sooner. Like that's
I hate that saying.
Yeah. But now that's the good thing too about your product is you're adding. Well, the rats had 90%
extension of life.
What was that? I know we can't really study that on a human. I mean, that's kind of like a impossible study because you don't know.
But Chris, you are studying that, aren't you?
We are. Well, we're doing a sleep study. We're doing a DNA age test. And in reality, I'm a test subject. I've been taking the product for 3 years now, and will continue to take the product. So if you extrapolate a 90% extension of life, you get to the average human will live 152 years.
And how old are you right now?
I'm 51.
Okay, because you look good.
So that would give me another 101 years
I'll be writing books forever.
to be.
Right?
Well, Patrick's going, I'm stopping this medication.
I would like to explicitly not thank Chris for his support in driving me to do this. Yeah, so it's important. So we covered naps. Let's cover another one, and Patrick touched on this. It's electronics, right? We all have the cell phone. We've got our computer. We've got our tablets. And what a lot of us don't realize is these devices give off blue light and blue radiation. And that light actually convinces our body that it's midday, because it turns out that when the sun is at its peak, it goes through less of the atmosphere and we have more blue light at that point. And you can imagine if you're trying to be in tune with your circadian rhythm, which is like, hey, when it's time, when the sun comes up, it's time to wake up. When it goes down, it's time to go to sleep. If you're all of a sudden at 10 p.m. watching your device and your physiology is going, oh, it's noon, like we shouldn't be going to sleep yet, that's a problem. So it's lucky most of these devices have blue light blockers. Android, I know, has one. Apple has one. I know Patrick actually keeps on his computers. I don't know. He may be looking at us and we may look like not blue right now. He tends to keep his blue light filter on all the time. And
I do it on my phone too.
On the phone. If you look behind him, he actually took those photos and worked them and printed them out. So obviously when he's doing photo work, he's turning off that blue light filter. Otherwise they might look weird.
Can I add something there? This is because Chris has raised such a great point, and I'm glad he remembered to mention blue light. If you're the person that likes to read on the internet, or even if you're using your Kindle to read a book at night, or if you're using your phone and you don't have the blue light filter on, you're actually keeping yourself awake. That's why you can talk to anyone and they'll say, oh yeah, I started working on the project and I was working till 2 o'clock in the morning on my computer, because the blue light keeps you awake. So again, part of the ritual of preparing for sleep, as Chris said, I turn it off, but start early, Gina. Turn your blue light filter on your computer, your Kindle, your phone, whatever device you have. Turn the blue light filter on early from around 6 or 7 p.m. You won't notice that much difference because you're not...
Audio automatically.
Yeah, you can set it to your computer and it'll just come on at whatever time. You can set it...
I just noticed my phone has it on automatically. I've turned it on at some point in time, so... Okay.
Yeah, and it's fine. And yeah,
it may not be early enough. So the thing is you want that blue light filter to come on about the time or an hour before the sun is actually setting wherever you're at, so that you're not again tricking your brain into the middle of the day. The other thing, and Patrick touched on this a little bit, is get those electronic devices out of your bedroom, right? I know a lot of people charge them. They use them as an alarm. There's this really old thing called an alarm clock. Go get one and put your cell phone out in the hall or down wherever in the kitchen about 2 hours before you go to sleep, right? So that you're able to disconnect, because we're actually wired. There's there's interesting research that shows we're actually wired to get very excited about little pieces of social information that could be of value in a social environment, right? Very true and very necessary if you're living in a tribe of 50 people. But if you're getting a Facebook tweet or post or whatever from somebody on the other side of the planet who isn't really going to affect your social interactions for the day other than online, like, our brains don't understand the difference. And we actually get endorphins that kick in and cause us to really desire this information. This might explain why people are always doing it. And so get those things out of your sleeping space, an hour or 2 hours earlier. Yeah.
I swear I'm the bizarre one in this group. I have my cell phone in my room. It's turned upside down. For me, it's an emergency phone call because I don't have a house line. Yep. So if my kids need to get a hold of me, it's there. But I watched the show one time and they said one of the things you need to do is, when most people get up, they'll get up and look at their phone. And they said for the first minimum 15 minutes, don't touch it. So what I did was I'll get up in the morning and it's my step counter. So I keep it with me so it counts my steps. But I don't physically look at it until I've gotten up gone to the little girl's room, started the coffee, put the dog out for his potty, and then while I'm outside, I'll send my good mornings to my children. Then I'll come in and it'll be off again for at least another hour.
Yeah. That's a
So
good.
So for
there's
me,
also,
I've learned to stop myself, because I used to get up in the morning and look at it was the first thing I would do is look at my cell phone, see what's happening, what's good, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you have other things to do. So that's how I
30 minutes.
sort of train myself.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I need
30
my-
minutes before you, 30 minutes before you sleep and 30 minutes for the first 30 minutes of waking. You're in what's called a hypnagogic state, where you are very suggestible and where you easily absorb the information. So if you turn on the phone, you turn on the news, and you're hearing negative things, they have a greater impact on you the 30 minutes before you fall asleep and the 30 minutes after, the first 30 minutes after you've woken up. So be aware that you're actually feeding your mind poison.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Patrick, I just can't get over it. I just think about it. I look at you and it's all the different courses and workshops and things that you have, and like even weight loss and stuff. I think that this would help with weight loss
Okay,
because
stop talking about weight loss.
stress adds on the weight, right? And
Well, like Matthew Walker's book talks about the link between weight and lack of sleep, number one. Number two, negative emotions will create problems in terms of weight, because again, it's affecting your digestion, it's affecting your metabolism. The more stress you have and the more you're in the fight or flight response, the more cortisol your body releases, and that cortisol is also about holding on to fat. So there's a link between cortisol and belly fat, and there's also a link between stress and fat around your organs. So focusing on your thoughts, your emotions, and sleep also helps your physical health and physical state.
yeah. So yes, Mom.
We were so into this. It's now 9:11. We need to go for a commercial break. Otherwise, Bob's going to kill me.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on. We're gonna just take a quick
Is
little.
Bob inhumane too? Is maybe I need to hang out with Bob.
Probably.
Bob's got his own category. All right.
It's like me. He's special.
3 minutes.
The Fox Den is now proudly sponsored by Vortex Ghost Gear, one of the leading fabricators of paranormal equipment. Bob Christopher is the founder and creator of Vortex Ghost Gear. He has decades of investigating, starting with his team at NEPA, and as lead in the popular local TV show Ghost Detectives, he has experience of how spirits could be seen or heard. Using this knowledge, he has manufactured equipment for specific scenarios of spirit manifestation and communication. He is the only manufacturer of the popular lifelike trigger prop cats and dogs. Using proximity meters wired to lights and sound, these prove to be highly effective communication devices in the field of study. The HTO, another Vortex exclusive, allowing specific items to be the highlight or trigger of your investigation. For example, place the item on a metal tray or attach directly to any metal object such as keys or glasses that continue to go missing or moved. Ask the spirit to touch the item. The HTO will light. It has a sound option as well. This device was used in Travel Channel's Ghost Nation with great results. The Dome, a static detector, can be the most useful device in your gear bag. This is to back up the theory that the spirits manifest using static electricity. Using several, you can track a spirit, for example, walking down a hallway, setting off each as it passes. The geophone detects vibrations. This is another way to track movement. If a claim is footsteps in the hallway or stairwell, set the sensitivity and place the device in that area. Its band of lights will show a range of vibrations from the slightest tapping, lighting only a few lights, to the loudest thumping, lighting the entire range. The Easy Scan ghost boxes are very popular due to the ease of use. They are custom decorated to the individual or team using them. Bob programs and uses an Arduino-based computer scanning FM waves to potentially communicate with the spirit realm in real time. Every box is unique and all custom hand decorated by Gina Bankston. The V-Pod has a special place for those who love the idea of REM pods. Use this sleeker, smaller, easier to transport device. It is a must-have in your gear bag. Take your investigating to the next level with many of Vortex Ghost Gear's unique and custom creations by Bob Christopher. Visit www.vortexghostgear.com to view all the products and get your equipment today. You can also investigate with Bob and Gina with ghostly excursions, taking people to some of the most haunted locations in the USA. Visit www.ghostlyexcursions.com and join us on our next adventure.
Okay, now Bob's not going to kill you.
Sorry, Bob. I should send him an apology.
Besides, I switched it up.
Okay.
Well, and I've got one more thing, and then I do that I want to share, and hopefully it can help your audience get sleep. And I know I don't know if Patrick needs to take off. I do need to. I'm sorry I didn't schedule more time. But the thing that I want to share is so some people like this, some people don't. It's related to alcohol. Some people believe that if you have a drink right before you go to sleep, it'll actually help you sleep. And the reality is it'll knock you unconscious. It's a depressant, but it will actually interrupt your sleep. There's really good data. Having one drink, certainly no more than two, but having one drink is actually associated with healthful people who tend to live longer. But you want to do that 1 to 2 hours prior to going to sleep so that your body can metabolize that alcohol. It's interesting because it is a depressant and it does knock you out. It's actually in that book, Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker. He talks about the $2 billion sleep aid industry, where they prescribe you drugs that you take right before you go to sleep. They do knock you out. You actually wake up without the desire for sleep. But what they don't do, and Patrick hinted to this, is they don't allow you to get the NREM and the REM sleep that is actually healing your body, right? And so, yeah, you're not desiring sleep when you wake up, and you feel that that's inherently more refreshing than waking up and needing to sleep still. But if you're not getting that REM sleep and you're not getting that NREM sleep, then you're not doing any value to your body. What's also interesting, I like to just kind of contrast the MyVitalC product, where you actually take it in the morning. Our customers report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. There's not many things that I'm aware of. In fact, I'm aware of 2 that you can do in the morning to actually get better sleep that night. So one of the things that you can do in the morning is you can exercise. Like really, if you exercise any part of the day, you're going to sleep better that night. But exercise in the morning, and then expose yourself to sunlight. Get that that's part of getting that circadian rhythm in line and in sync with the actual, rising and falling of the sun. Or apparently take MyVitalC. That's what our customers report.
Right. I can't wait to try it. I honestly can't. I'm
Same here.
really looking forward to it.
Especially for the anti-inflammatory products.
Yeah.
I know. We both need it. We both need it. I mean,
I'm older than all of you people. So there.
Between stress and what we're going through, and the COVID stress, and just day to day, and it's definitely different. What we've been going through is different. We always have had stress. We've always had these issues, to get stressed over. But this is completely a new animal. Who knew this was going to last this long? Who knew this was going to do so much damage and disrupt so many lives in so many different ways, between work, relationships, being away from people, being with people.
It's called forced togetherness.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, who knew that?
Your spouse is lucky to be alive.
We're very lucky to be walking the planet today. And other people, it's like, I haven't seen my family in so long, and that's stressful to me too, and that's
Children.
so many people. Yeah. Your kids, it's like, it's crazy.
And that's why we'd like to encourage your listeners to get the audiobook, which is free. No name, no email address. I don't know what the link is, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's there it is. The Fox, myvitalc.com/the Fox Den. When you go there, if you're interested in trying the product, great. I highly encourage it. You can find a bottle, or you can find, we've got a 30-day pack. On subscription, you save like 25%.
Sweet. There
You can cancel at any time. So take advantage of that discount. Our staff isn't trained to talk you out of canceling it. Also, when you go to that link, you can connect with Patrick. So there's a link to his website. You felt like the emotional intelligence coming out of Patrick today. He puts that into a newsletter that he writes weekly. And make sure that you go and sign up for that. Of course, you will need to give an email for that as opposed to the books at that link.
Right.
He's also and he was kind of doing a little bit of kind of helping people. What he does is an SRTT process, subconscious rapid transformation technique. It's phenomenal. He did a session with my wife very recently. And I do a session about once a quarter. It's when I know that something's holding me back. I know that I've tried to give it my best to accomplish something, and there's still something that's blocking me. He takes care of that. It's not like a therapy session where you're like, oh, let's go talk about our feelings. It's like, let's dig in, identify what the problem is, release it, and then move on. It's a pretty phenomenal experience. So.
Oh, I can wholeheartedly see that, because just the things that I was looking up and listening to, and I bombarded myself with a lot of things in a very little time. That's why I get a little confused on where I heard the thing with the anger. But I was just so impressed. I mean, just
Thank you.
so impressed.
Well, thank you. And we want to thank you for the opportunity of being on your show tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. And we will be definitely keeping in touch. And I'll send you my info to send me.
Please, both of you. And do you have pets?
Yes.
Okay, let me know. Cats, dogs, whatever you have. We have those versions as well. We'll get those out to you.
Yeah, I have a very old little Papillon, and she's not the best of health. She waddles around a little bit,
Well, quick kind of wrap it up testimonial. One of our biggest distributors in Houston originally bought the product for her dog and noticed such a profound difference in her dog that she started taking it herself. Why that's really important is there's no placebo effect on dogs. Like the dog doesn't say, oh, I'm taking some supplement and I should act youthful and run around and be a puppy again.
Yeah, no.
It either feels it or it doesn't. And then she started taking the product and is now one of our biggest distributors in Houston. So kind of a cool way to wrap up.
That is
so if anybody hasn't gotten all the links, and if you missed them, I put them into the chat room, hit me up. I've got all the guys' links. I will put it in the Fox Den. So this is an important thing for everybody to get a hold of.
Oh, it really is. All right, so you can look. They have all the social sites, and they have YouTube channels and everything else. But I mean, when you go to Patrick's website, you can see all of his books and his ebooks and the meditation and all those things and all the things that he does. When you go to Chris's, even your YouTube channel, you can watch other interviews that you've done. More information about My Vital C, the product, the molecule. Please share this show, get this information out, because this is something we all need. I know I do. I know Mama does. Pretty much everybody in our lives, we need this for our own health and our own well-being. And guys, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, hang
Night, everybody. See you
for a couple minutes. Yep, we will see you next week. And good night, everybody. Share.
Thank you again for joining us for another episode in the Fox Den. We're here every Thursday evening from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you a variety of guests, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and our Anchor venues. We would love it if you would go to our YouTube channel, The Fox Den with Gina B and Mama D, and please subscribe, share, and definitely hit the notification button to never miss a show. We'll see you all next week, and subscribers, watch for our pop-up shows as well.